Captain Sarah Reeves stood on the bridge of the Indomitable, watching through the viewport as the Terran Liberation Fleet's 12 ships faced down the Galactic Empire's 7th Armada, 600 vessels arranged in perfect formation, their hulls bristling with weapons that could glass planets. The Imperial flagship Eternal Dominion dwarfed the human vessels like a cathedral beside fishing boats. Admiral Vorthak's transmission crackled through the comm system, his reptilian voice dripping with the authority of 1,000 conquered worlds. "Rebel scum," Vorthak hissed, "you are outnumbered 50 to 1. Your pathetic resistance ends today. Surrender, and your deaths will be swift." The response from the human fleet came immediately: laughter. Not nervous chuckles or desperate bravado, but genuine, infectious laughter that echoed across every comm channel. Captain Maria Santos of the Defiant Dawn was laughing so hard she could barely speak. Commander Jake Morrison of the Rising Storm was wiping tears from his eyes. Even the normally stoic Captain Chen of the Last Stand was chuckling. 50 to 1? Reeves managed between bursts of laughter. "Is that all? Jenny, remind me what the odds were at Proxima Station." 200 to 1, Captain, came the reply from her tactical officer, Lieutenant Jennifer Walsh, who was grinning widely. "And we had half the ships we have now." More laughter erupted from the fleet. Admiral Vorthak's scales rippled with confusion and growing rage. "You laugh in the face of certain death? Have you lost your minds?" Captain Santos keyed her comm, still chuckling. "Admiral, with all due respect, you're threatening the wrong species. We're humans. We invented impossible odds." "Your bravado will not save you," Vorthak snarled. "I have conquered 17 star systems. My forces are—" "Boring," interrupted Commander Morrison cheerfully. "Seriously, does every Imperial Admiral use the same speechwriter? Conquered 17 systems, mighty forces, swift death. It's like you're reading from a script." The human fleet's laughter intensified. Even crew members who weren't on the command channels were picking up the infectious mirth through their ship's internal systems. Besides, Captain Chen added with dry amusement, 17 systems? That's adorable. Earth's children have liberated 23 systems in the past year alone, and we're just getting started." Admiral Vorthak's mandibles clicked in fury. "Your 12 ships against my armada. You cannot possibly win?" Reeves cut him off, her voice bright with amusement. "Admiral, let me tell you something about humans. We once had a guy charge a machine gun nest with nothing but a bayonet and pure spite. We've had people walk on the moon just to prove we could. We've survived ice ages, plagues, world wars, and really terrible reality TV. And now," Santos chimed in, "we're going to show you why the Empire's greatest mistake was trying to enslave a species that considers impossible a personal challenge." The human ships began moving, not in the tight formations the Empire expected, but in chaotic, unpredictable patterns that seemed to mock military doctrine. The Indomitable executed a barrel roll that no warship should have been able to perform. The Defiant Dawn was somehow moving in 3 directions at once. "You see," Admiral Commander Morrison explained as his ship danced between targeting solutions, "while you were building bigger guns and more ships, we were asking different questions. Like, what if we stopped thinking of space as empty? What if we treated physics as suggestions rather than laws?" The Imperial fleet opened fire, unleashing enough firepower to sterilize a small moon. Energy beams and projectiles filled space with deadly light. The human ships laughed their way through the barrage. The Last Stand flickered out of existence just as a planetary bombardment cannon fired, reappearing behind the Imperial line. The Rising Storm seemed to exist in multiple locations simultaneously, confusing targeting systems. The Indomitable simply shrugged off hits that should have vaporized it, its hull glowing with energies that made Imperial sensors weep in confusion. "The thing about humans," Captain Chen said conversationally, as her ship's weapons began responding not with conventional energy weapons, but with something that made reality hiccup around the Imperial vessels, is that we've never met a rule we didn't want to break. Imperial ships began reporting system failures as their own weapons turned against them. Their navigation computers started insisting they were actually flying backward through time, and their artificial intelligences began composing surprisingly good poetry about the futility of conquest. "This is impossible," Admiral Vorthok screamed as his flagship's lights began spelling out UMAENSRULEA in ancient Terran script. "There's that word again," Reeve said, her voice warm with affection for the universe's stubborn refusal to behave. "Admiral, you want to know the secret of human defiance. We don't fight impossible odds because we think we can win. We fight them because losing to impossible odds is infinitely more interesting than winning easy battles." The human laughter reached a crescendo as the Imperial 7th Armada, 600 of the Empire's finest warships, found themselves inexplicably arranged in a perfect formation spelling out ERTHSA, YSHELO, in letters visible from 3 star systems away. Besides, Lieutenant Walsh added cheerfully, as she watched Imperial Marines spontaneously break into dance routines, "Where's the fun in fair fights?" Admiral Vorthok stared at his instruments, which were now displaying tactical readouts in limerick form, and realized that the Empire had fundamentally misunderstood what they were dealing with. These weren't rebels or terrorists, or even warriors, in any sense his species could comprehend. These were humans, a species that looked at the vast, hostile universe and decided it needed more laughter. "Retreat," he ordered desperately. "All ships, retreat. All. Leaving so soon?" Captain Santos called out. "But we were just getting to know each other. Don't be strangers." As the Imperial fleet fled in confusion, their ships' hulls now displaying helpful messages like VEANICEDAY and EMEMBRTOQUST, EIONAUTHO, UAOORIT, while the human fleet regrouped, still chuckling. "Well," Captain Reeves said, settling back in her command chair, "that was refreshing. Where to next?" "Intel reports the 4th Armada is occupying the Kepler system," Lieutenant Walsh replied. 3,000 ships this time. The bridge crew exchanged glances and broke into fresh laughter. 3,000? Commander Morrison's voice crackled over the comm. "Now that sounds like a proper challenge." And as the Terran Liberation Fleet set course for their next impossible battle, their laughter echoed across the stars, a sound that was quickly becoming the Empire's most feared weapon. After all, there was nothing more dangerous than humans who found the universe's attempts to stop them genuinely hilarious.